Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Sarasota, Florida again.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm again in Asheville, North Carolina. But I just got back from a trip, and I'm leaving on another trip tomorrow. So I tend to do them here. You tend to do them when you're traveling. So
that's right. But because of your gravel camp, and you're traveling, we decided to squeeze this one in here, which is pretty close after the last one. Really, we've been stretching them out more. It's the episode 351. It's the 9th of April, 2024. And we just had, the third monument of the season over the weekend, Paris-Roubaix.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And it's so much excitement over the weekend, and a little bit with Paris-Roubaix, but Alpecin-Deceuninck. What is Alpecin right now?
Alpecin-Deceuninck.
So they're dominating. They've won all three monuments.
Yeah, incredibly. Yeah, on the men's side there, Jasper Philipsen, of course, with Milan-San Remo, and then I just kept the same picture because it's the same result for the last two monuments, the big Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix, the whole 8 week they call it of cycling, and we knew Mathieu van der Poel was the top favorite. There wasn't. I mean, the closest really rider coming up in the Paris-Roubaix was going to be Mads Pedersen, who's been
an injured Mads Pedersen.
Yeah. So without Van Aert, it was just a matter of time. But always the questions before was how strong Mathieu van der Poel's team would be, and they were phenomenal. Gianni Vermeersch has been incredible.
Yeah,
Jasper Philipsen doing great.
And then Philipsen is almost. I'm more impressed by his riding. Van der Poel, I mean, not saying you expect him to do it, but you expect him to win, certainly. But for Philipsen to win Milan-San Remo, to win second place, in Paris-Roubaix, and he's what we call a pure sprinter, so it's like, he's, right? I mean,
he's one of the
close
fastest men,
Yeah, certainly one of the, I mean, he's not
Tim Merlier won the Skeller Price race in midweek, which is more of a sprint. But actually, Philipsen was a little boxed in, so Merlier had a little bit more open, I guess, run to the line. And I think on the women's side, they've only had 4 editions, like they have 4 editions of Paris-Roubaix. There was it Lorena Vivas? She's won all 4, I believe.
Oh, I believe
on the women's side, yeah. But
Jasper
Philipsen,
sure.
A fast guy, but to do Paris-Roubaix, it takes a lot of luck too. I mean, he had a flat. He was, and that Van der Poel to kind of try to slow things down to help him get back, and it was in a good timing really for him. If you can get a flat where there's a good stretch of pavement, not right at the beginning of a cobble section where you have to really wait to get a replacement. So he got his replacement and was able to get back, and Gianni Vermeersch, filled in the meantime to take care of any breaks that were going off, recovering. But Mads Pedersen also had a mechanical problem, and his wasn't as bad either. But it's just, he didn't have as much.
He didn't have margin around him to help out, right?
Yeah, and it's not as much margin for extra work to be able to compete with like Van der Poel. So
and he did a ton of work too. He was working.
Yeah, he was closing
so much.
Things in.
Yeah. Mathieu van der Poel, he was, I mean, when Vermeersch flatted, when Pedersen flatted, Van der Poel's off the front at that point, I think, by himself just a little bit. And so he slowed down. He came out of that cobble section with like a 20-meter gap, So then he slowed down a little bit, and then, 3 or 4 people caught back on, and then he was easily able to manipulate that group, to get Philipsen back on. So they controlled. They rode a great race, and I'm listening to the commentators a little bit, and they were saying that there's a lot of speculation that Jasper Philipsen will go to another team next year, but they're saying, wow, Van der Poel and Pedersen are working so well together. I mean, there's no way he would have won Milan-San Remo if it wasn't for
all the stages he won at the Tour last year.
Yeah, so they were just saying it'd be it depends what his motivating factor is. If he wants to purely cash in dollars, sure, sign like a 3 or 4 year contract, maybe with another team, makes a little more money. But if he wants to be the best racer he can be, there's no question he should stay with Alpecin-Deceuninck. So he's the situation, because Van der Poel signed for the next 5 years there. He's going to be there the next 5 years, and it's unlikely he's going to have a huge fall off. He may not have as dominant of a year that he is right now, but he's always going to be. He's shown this throughout his whole career. I mean, he has downtimes like last year's tour. It wasn't really a stellar performance from him, but he still was a good worker anyway.
But he was putting a lot of the energies into setting up Philipsen, I think. Yeah.
Basically, I think that's what his level of fitness right at the moment was able to be utilized the best, So, yeah. So that was more of the interesting parts is as the last 60K when Van der Poel's out the front, they had lots of time to talk about all the other stuff, like the speculation about future years' employment stuff.
Yeah, I mean, up till then it was pretty exciting. The talk before was how they were trying to slow the riders down before they hit the Arenberg Forest, so they wouldn't hit it as fast. And they had that big chicane they called it. It was like a hairpin turn, and I think it worked really well. I think
except for it was a small group coming into it.
That's
30 guys together.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Wasn't like
you couldn't tell as effectiveness if it had a bigger group, but as it was with that smaller group, it was very effective.
Yeah, but with 150 people, the rush towards the front is much more. There's more urgency to it, because if you're 30 people back going in, it's not the best spot for sure. But if you're 120th spot back, that's horrible, So, and then the team leaders are all going to say to all their workers, get up to the front, get me in spot, push position. So, it's just much more chaotic. But when there was like 30 some or whatever there was, that way, even the 30th person wasn't in a horrible spot, and they weren't going to get, swamped by people behind them at that point too. So it changed the entrance quite a bit, I think, by the way the race was. So
wherever you're going to put something where the racers have to try to fight for position to get to that point first is going to be a dangerous area.
Yes.
So whether you put, when they were talking about putting that, I was thinking, man, maybe they should just put like cyclocross barriers and make everybody have to dismount and jump over. I mean, something.
Yeah, or go gravel wise. They could just have like a gravel section with like a couple of short bumps and turns or something like that too. So, it wouldn't. Right, the gravel section would probably be actually more safe than the cobbles there. So, because the issue is
rough.
They're going like what, 40, 45K an hour, something like that into that. Maybe higher than that, 50K, 60K. Yeah, they're flying so fast.
They averaged 50K for the first few hours, and the race final average, Mathieu Van der Poel's average, was 47 kilometers per hour.
Right. 1 kilometer over his running time last year, right?
For 5.5 hours at that.
Yeah, on cobbles and stuff.
But they did have some cross tailwind.
Yeah,
the winds were definitely in the favor. Yeah.
So that didn't seem to affect the men so much, but the women's, they said that was a big factor in not having a big group of, or a person off the front, solo and stuff like that too. Was the tailwind was keeping it, although sometimes the tailwind is easier to have someone off the front.
Right.
But they said that was a factor for sure in having a fast race, having people fresher, so people weren't able to wear people out and then get off the front. So,
but it seems like the last few races, action starts so much earlier that the early break doesn't have really any chance at all anymore. They got caught so earlier, after last year's women's race where they mistimed the break, and they didn't leave that to chance at all this time either.
It's like Milan-San Remo, that early break there, that stayed out for a long time still. That was okay. But in a race like this,
but it wasn't given so much of a leash, a few minutes at all. Sometimes it's been a lot more time where they get. So the racing is definitely more aggressive, faster, and I don't know how much you want to talk about.
Well, they were saying like the Van der Poel chose an aero bike, and then when he was off the front, they're like, well, he's got an aero bike. So, because some people were riding factors, I think Israel Primotar was riding factors
like a gravel
bike, which is an aero gravel bike,
And they didn't have anybody up high.
No, and then Riley Sheehan, he was the first American, so he was their top anyway. But and then so the people on specialized bikes weren't choosing the Roubaix bike, which was made specifically for Roubaix. They were choosing the SL8, which is the aero bike, the all arounder. So it was interesting that they were saying that the aero people were choosing all the aero stuff to go faster, and they were just going to let themselves get hammered a little harder on the cobbles to be aero the rest of the 5 hours or whatever. So Yeah,
Well,
that's interesting.
Van der Poel doesn't even wear gloves. I mean,
yeah. Although occasionally he wears them and takes them off. I guess he wears them for part of it, takes them off. But yeah,
okay.
did you see someone threw? It wasn't a glove though. I think a hat.
Oh, it's something at his wheel.
Yeah.
I saw
And
something, but yeah.
Oh yeah, they're prosecuting. I think she's gonna turn herself in, and they're gonna. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Some woman, she was like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't read much about it, other than that she was gonna turn herself in. So.
Yeah, well.
Non fans at the races. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Van der Poel got now 6 monuments. He's right up there. He's, wins the double, all these records he has. So Eddie Merckx has 19 monuments, so he'll probably not even get close to that, but no one else probably will. Merckx had like, I don't know, what, 7, 8 Milan San Remos? So he had a bunch of those. And that's like gotten to be such a, I mean, how did he win those so easily? It seems like, I mean, it was so dominant. I mean, now it seems
dominant, yeah. So,
yeah. But now it's so much more difficult.
Yeah. How many did Zabel win? He won quite a few too. So I think when Zabel was
sprinter,
it was a formula, right? Zabel, his team made sure that it came down to a sprint. They could control things well enough, and he was able. Yeah, but Merckx I think he won. I don't know. My guess is he won solo and he won in a small group sprints. He could do everything. So
yeah,
and then they that's one thing too. Then they try and compare, Pogačar with Merckx, saying, oh, he has 50 wins already, but of course this time in Merckx's career he had 100 wins, and then Merckx had won Lance-Arnaud, like you said, 7 times or whatever.
7 times, yeah, 7 times.
And it wasn't, and Pogačar hasn't been able to get a win there yet too. So it is different for sure. I think you can't compare. I mean, it's not an even comparison. You can't compare. It's not an even comparison though, for sure.
66, he won in a sprint. Like there were 11 guys. I'm not gonna take time to look at everyone though.
But he could do both for sure. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The next year, sprint out of 5 guys. Okay. Now I am curious whether he won what it's solo or what's the biggest margin he had. Well, maybe I'll research it for another time, maybe for next year. I'd like to. We don't have a lot of time this morning. Try to squeeze this in. You got to get ready for your gravel camp. I'm actually doing a Korea trip Thursday.
Oh wow.
I haven't been to Korea. Yeah, I don't think I'll get any bike riding there, but I'm planning to do a hike. There's some hikes in the surrounding mountains around Seoul, so that's my plan. Let's see how that goes. Should be nice spring-like weather there, upper 60s, low 70s. So that'll be nice as it's getting warmer here. Although we had a cool down. I know you had a cool down. You said it was going to be cold there the weekend. So it has been a little cool in the mornings here in Sarasota, which is nice. Probably
cool. So it was, I think, 38 when I started the race on Saturday. I started the race at 38. So that was not too bad. So what was your cool down starting with temperatures you had?
Yeah, in the low 60s. So.
Low 60s, yeah. So
yeah.
We didn't see 60
degrees. Which is nice, yeah. Today. Yeah, because, when it gets to be May, June, it never gets below 70 until, November. That's what I missed. Colorado would get really hot in the summer, but it would cool off at night and be cool in the morning. It would take until 11, 12 o'clock, really, to get warmed up and hot. So, anyway, the Itulia Basque Country Tour.
Oh Lord, that was
crazy because it was going to be so awesome to have 3 of those top guys that are going to compete for the tour to fight it out there. But then we lost that opportunity because of the crash. Yeah,
and perhaps the tour too. So I mean, that's when we talk about the tour in October, November, December. I mean, it's going to have 30 people fighting for the win, and then you get there and there's 2. And that happens a lot. So we don't know what's going to happen yet this year, but it's certainly the Tour of the Basque Country, that one corner, right-hand corner, that was apparently a little rough, and people were going so fast into it, and a little truck rider slid out, and yeah.
But MvdP, I thought, made a little bit of a move too, didn't he?
A move?
I mean, I thought he shifted his. I didn't see it. So
yeah, he was behind. I actually watched it live. It was kind of. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, little truck rider went out, and then Evenepoel was like 1 rider behind or 2 riders behind, and went into the woods. And he actually stayed upright for a long time.
He missed a tree that I guess could have really hurt him worse.
Yeah. But he didn't fall for like 30, 40 meters afterwards. He was riding his bike through the dirt where Roglic and Vindigo hit that cement gutter right away, right off the road. And yeah.
Yeah, and Roglic does a break thing, and Vingegaard breaks lots of things.
Yeah, including a punctured lung too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening a little bit to the Move podcast. It was Johan Bernil and Spencer and JB. It wasn't Lance, was it?
Oh.
Talk about, but Bernil, because I mean, he has so much experience. He raced him, he's directed, so it was interesting to hear his takes. It's funny because even like when you listen to the Move with George Hincapie and Lance, or even Christian Vandervelde and Bob, all these former racers who had all this experience, they seem so far removed from the racing that they almost talk about the races only that they've had the experience to actually do it with the same kind of awe that we have maybe when we talk about it, because
Oh yeah.
it seems like it that they can't believe, like sometimes they can't even believe that they used to do that. So, but anyway, Brunel was saying that Vingegaard, his injuries should be able to recover, maybe and to ride the Tour, but not in the condition he would want to be riding in it. That's his take. But also I was starting to listen to a little bit where like the question is, why are there these crashes? Are there really more? There seems like there's been a lot of high profile riders, of course, crashing with Wout van Aert and the crash at Dars door Flandern. But for his take was that the riders, besides, it's always the team directors, you can blame them some, saying you got to be at the front here, and you've got these guys all pushing it on these downhills. But the riding positions, if you even look in the picture that you've got of the women's race, most all the riders are riding on their hoods, and the handlebars, Bernie was saying, are narrower. 38, like that's kind of standard. They're riding on more, which is a little bit less stable to handle, and they've got their shifters or their brakes hoods turned into what they're allowed to now, 10 degrees, to just get in the most aero position. And that even on these descents, the riders are riding in the more aero position up, going in the drops, like it looks like Ellen Van Dijk's in her drops behind you, but the other one's on the hood. But they're just going in a flat here. But
yeah,
that you don't have as much control either when you would riding in the drop. So he was maybe speculating, not confirming, but just trying to think like why are they having on these crashes, that they're not riding their bikes in a way that would help them to be more in control, I guess. So I don't know. That's possible. Also, another thing with the disc brakes, they know that they have that really good stopping power with the disc brake, and so they can leave off braking if they need to until maybe later on if they have to, because they know they've got that more stopping power. So I don't know. That's just a theory too. I don't know.
In the wet for sure, but I don't think my disc brakes stop me any faster than my
Your rim
brakes. Yeah, in the dry. I think I could stop just as faster, because I've thought about it a lot, because a lot of people, I'm a good descender still on the road, and a lot of people said, oh my gosh, you're gonna be so scary fast on descents with disc brakes, and much more so than you are with rim brakes. No, I don't. I don't think I'm any faster on the dry. I think because the disc brakes, I don't think give me any advantage over rim brakes on the dry. So in the wet, yeah, but in the dry, I don't think so. I think if you use the other brakes well. So I would be surprised if that was a mindset change. But yeah, certainly though, they do ride narrow bars. Their hood, the hoods could be turned in. Certainly before they had the new ECI rule, they were turned in to a dangerous spot. You couldn't grab them very well. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of pressure. That's something that people say too, that having everything on TV earlier too, and there's just for that crash, for example, when I was reading about it, they said the road surface was really rough, and apparently it had been identified
beforehand too, and ignored. Yeah,
by Evanpool or somebody, by but in a pre-ride there, they knew that corner specifically was going to be worse. But
I've seen the races, some races where there are dangerous fast turns, that the marshals are trying to get the riders to slow down. They're like motioning, like danger up here, like to get it under control. So I don't know. It's just a pity. I mean, I feel deflated as a fan, like when Wout van Aert and Jasper Stuyven and Alex Kears, those guys, when they went down, that we're not going to get the racing that we could have with the top guys racing against each other, and the same thing with the Basque Country, and have all those top riders out. I mean, it turned out to be a very exciting last stage because of Juan Ayuso and Carlos Rodriguez putting the pressure on Skilmoza, who was able to catch back on after the Cat 1 climb, I guess, but then the final climb he got dropped again, and then it was a real chase and push, and the agreement that the Spaniards had, of who's going to finish 1-2 for the time bonus, because Ayuso would wrap up the overall, and then it was just it was Mikel Landa though getting the last time bonus that kept pushed Skilmoza down to third from second. So, but that that was exciting.
And then Landa crashed too, right? So Landa's out. I think,
yeah, he crashed. Yeah. Sepp Kuss and Landa had been riding well. We didn't even talk about how well he was riding before. Kuss, though, we were hoping always for more for him in a climbing race, but it wasn't the big long climbs, I think, where he would do better in. But
and he sat up. I think he was purposely losing times early, so he was so far. Like Brandon McNulty ended up finishing fourth, right? He was
7th overall.
Oh, 7th overall.
Yeah.
Okay, he was the best American. He was trying to win the race, so do well, even though he had two teammates.
Well, we used to his team. Yeah.
So he was helping them out, but so as a helper, Brandon McNulty was helping his team, but trying to position himself well every day. Sepp Kuss, as a helper for Vindigo, was not trying to position himself well every day and was losing tons of time early on. So even with a good last stage, he had a good last stage. He still moved up to
he got
15th or something, or 20th.
Got the KOM. I mean, not the KOM, the jersey, polka dot jersey, best climber. So
Kuss did it overall?
Yeah, Kuss
wow.
did.
Right.
Yeah,
he
got a jersey. Yeah.
But
But he was positioned. He was well positioned, and with Stephen Kruijswijk in the breakaway, that I thought, oh well, maybe it's a stage he could win. But none of the stages finished out with the climb.
No,
anyway.
It was just interesting the way UAE did it. Was there like 3 guys in the top 7? In the way that Jumbo Visma was doing, Jumbo Elisa Bike was doing it, was just all for Vindigo.
Yeah, right.
So, just different philosophies, different way to race, and then it does cost you more. Maybe Kuss would have been as strong as he was in the final stage with Vindigo there, and would have launched him to, lengthen his lead or something. You never know. That strategy may have paid off if he hadn't crashed. But it definitely did not pay off when they crashed.
No.
Getting the jersey though, that is some publicity they still got from it. Although I hadn't heard about it till now, so obviously
not a lot of publicity. Yeah. Well, monuments. You got Les Best on Leaders Cups coming up, which will be interesting. I don't know if Van der Poel's committed yet. He could race.
I saw an article saying that he's being encouraged to race it, by somebody or other. So,
I guess Roglic, will he be able to be fit enough to race? I mean,
Mats Peterson was fit enough to race, this weekend. And did decent. He got a podium. Best
he was pretty happy with it. He moved up. He was 4th last year. So
right. Yeah. So, but I'm saying the same thing. Roglic. Yeah. So Mats Peterson was hurt, still was able to race and do well, but not his best. And then Roglic is hurt. Could he race the Liège-Bastogne-Liège? Yes, I think for sure. But will he do it because he won't be at his best? That's another question. So
is it worth it for him to do?
Yeah.
But Tadej Pogačar should be racing there. He's only, I guess, had 9 race days and 6 wins out of 9 so far. So he's got a pretty good
ratio.
Yeah.
And he's got. I mean, so it's the 9th of April, and is it May 4th that the Giro starts? When does the Giro start?
Oh yeah.
Look it up. But it's not very far, so
it's coming. It's gonna look it up faster. Upcoming races. I have to do it
May 4th.
the other way. Oh, you got it. May the 4th be with you. You got it. Yeah.
So
less than a month. Well, so you're gonna have Tadej Pogačar coming into the Tour fatigued from the Giro. Vingegaard coming into the Tour not having his preparation because of all his injuries.
Roglic, worse than Pogačar's last year's too. So
Roglic might be one of the better ones out. Evenepoel is going to miss out on some of his training too. So it's going to be very interesting. Brabantse Peel is tomorrow on Wednesday, midweek race. It's a race that Magnus Sheffield won a couple of years ago. American has won before.
And he's in good shape too. He's riding well.
Yeah. He's should be up there. I say Benoit Cosnefroy. He's been third, eighth, like third, second, up there a lot for this race. I was looking further back.
I'd like to see him win just because. Is he still in Cofidis? Is he not in Cofidis anymore?
Cosnefroy, he's been AG2R. He's Decathlon AG2R, Le Mondial. I saw even going further back that Tom Pidcock beat Wout van Aert in the race, like 2021-ish. Julian Alaphilippe and Mathieu van der Poel finished 1-2 years in a row, alternating who was first and second. So yeah, so that
Julian Alaphilippe's been riding pretty well too recently.
Yeah, pretty well. So
well, I mean,
yeah. And then you got Amstel Gold Race coming up on Sunday. Matteo Jorgensen was supposed to race Paris-Roubaix, and then I heard he was sick. They took him out. They put Christophe Laporte in, and now I was kind of thinking they took him out after Jonas crashed, and they've had all these crashes. And Paris-Roubaix is a race where you can crash a lot. And I was thinking, maybe they're just trying to protect him from having any injury because they need to keep somebody in good shape for the races and not put him into a difficult. I don't know.
I saw too
that was my theory.
His trainer said he wasn't 100% fit, is what they said. Not that he was injured or sick or anything, but and I thought, how's he not 100% fit? He just he's flying fast, so he seems fit. So
yeah, but he's been fit since the end of February because he was doing well then. So it
seemed like they were.
But he's supposed to race, I thought, through Amstel Gold, which is coming up on Sunday. Van der Poel's supposed to be racing that again too. It's got a lot more climbs. Now it's suited, and now it starts the Ardennes Classics where you got all the riders that are fast that can climb a lot more tend to excel in these. So
yeah, it's back to back. Am I reading that right? Back to back with Liège and then Amstel. It seems
Amstel and then Flèche-Wallonne and then Liège coming up next Sunday to Wednesday, Sunday.
Oh, the U23 Liège. I'm sorry, U23 Liège by Liège is the day before Amstel. So
I was interesting because we were talking a little bit about Ashland Berry. He's only 16. I think he did the U20 or the junior Paris-Roubaix. And I think he finished did I see that? Yeah, 7th. He was 33 seconds back.
Wow.
So that seems pretty impressive. Tom Pidcock, okay, that was crazy. He crashed out of the time trial warm-up before the Basque Country. Could hardly stand, and then yet was okay enough to race Paris-Roubaix and be the best finish for. Yeah.
He faded really a lot at the end, but yeah. But
it was still I guess he won it as a junior too. But he's really light guy too.
Yeah, I remember Taylor Phinney won it as a U23.
Right, twice I think.
Twice.
Yeah, Taylor Phinney. Missed out some great years on him because of his crash. So yeah, these crashes happen, and some riders can come back to the very best. Evenepoel, I mean, he had a horrible crash in Lombardia, and he's come back to a super high level since then, winning the World Road and then World Time Trial Championship. So
we were talking about that recently because of bike handling skills, and with I think just some people I was riding with, and we said that when Evenepoel crashed there, he had barely ridden in a pack in a race situation. Every junior race pretty much he just took off, and that was his first year as a World Tour pro at age 19, right? 18, 19, and just the races are so much more on, and other people are with him, and they're as strong as he is. So that was one of the first times because he made that turn and just missed the bridge. Other people weren't missing it. It's like he just didn't have.
It wasn't a big pack then, though, right?
There was people together, but not too big, right? In a smaller group. But some of it, though, I think comes down to when you're that much better than everybody else, and you move up in the sport real fast. Like again, Roglic didn't have that junior racing experience as much, and he was ski jumping. He wasn't learning the skills and stuff. And when he started racing, he was probably a lot better than everybody he's racing with. So if you don't come up through the ranks, or if you're just better than everybody else and you don't have to learn those skills sometimes, and then now all of a sudden you're in a situation where you have such so much more speed, more dangerous courses, not more dangerous, but more dangerous because you are going faster and you have to react quicker to things. And you haven't done that in your whole career. You're not used to it. It can be a huge contributing factor to why some of these big stars are crashing all the time. And so when Evenepoel crashed there in Lombardia, that might have been a lot due to him just not being familiar with going that fast and that level of field at that long of a race, because junior races aren't that long. And, it was a very unfamiliar situation to him. And again, same thing with Roglic. He crashes all the time. And it's, part of it, I think, is due to him not growing up in the sport and being used to getting those skills built down from a young age and stuff too. So
did you see Lawrence Pithy, who has been incredible this beginning of the year for FDJ? He was up there towards the end, and he slid out in 19, that corner. Right? I think he's a little older than that. 21. Yeah, he's still very young. Crashed, hit the cobbles, bounced up, got back on, and kept going. Oh, also Tim Van Dijk, one of the Visma. I mean, he was going. You see him cut the track.
The Van Dijk twins.
One of the twins, yeah. There's Mick and Tim. Mick
was stronger, I guess, but he crashed. And so.
Yeah, but Tim was in the group sprinting for 8th, which he won, but he cut the track. He went below the apron, below the blue line. Yeah.
So did he get relegated?
He got relegated, which I don't know the track rules, and they were kind of talking about, I think Daniel Lloyd said, well, you see riders cutting corners on the road, so what, why you can't cut the corner on the track? They have different rules. So no,
you're not supposed to do it on the road either, but it's a little more obvious, especially in the velodrome to finish the race.
Oh, I mean, I guess they could have taken Lance Armstrong some time off of him when he cut the field.
But Tim Josh is 24 years old.
But so he got relegated from top 10, from 8th to back of that group, 13th, 16th. Yeah. Josh Tarling got relegated for a long sticky bottle.
I didn't see it. I came on just as that was happening. Yeah. And the announcers were like, it was so obvious. It was and he's young. He's actually
20. He's
20.
Yeah.
But
so super,
they're and apparently he's a real mild-mannered guy too. He's very, even keel, doesn't get excited about stuff too. And he was so mad it happened too, And so this is out of character for him. But it was, it's just that it's the announcers were saying that it was just as he's doing it and as the director is letting him do it.
Yeah. What are they doing? What are they thinking?
Right. What are they thinking? Yeah. There's no way he's going to get away with that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny thing because they're so mad. Was he so mad at the race director for allowing him to do it? Or was he somebody got disqualified? Or
mad that he thought he could get away with it? I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
he'll have some good years. He'll probably win sometime. The way he rides. Yeah. He could ride away like Vanderpool with 80K to go with his time trialing ability probably.
Maybe.
So Vanderpool then so the last, including Flanders and Roubaix together, that's over 100 kilometers of solo riding. Well, let's wrap up birthdays. I don't know, when do you get back from your camp? How long is your camp?
My camp's only 4 days, but I'll be in Michigan after that. But we can do podcasts from Michigan though, so I'm gonna spend time with our mom and dad. As mom especially is struggling with health issues.
The 93 and 95-year-olds they are still plugging away at home.
Yeah, so I've got gravel camp this Wednesday through Sunday, and I'll be in Michigan up till Paris-Roubaix the following Saturday, and I have a whole bunch of clients doing that race, which has exploded. I think I've only done it one other year, like in 2011.
The Traverse City area?
No, it's in Hastings, Michigan.
It's in Michigan, though, yeah.
Yeah, it used to start and finish at Gun Lake, but now it's gotten so huge it starts and finishes in the town of Hastings. And there's multiple waves. I signed up the second day it was open, and I'm in the third wave, even though you're supposed to seed yourself by when you think you'll finish. But I'm sure there's lots of guys in the first 2 waves who are much slower than I'm going to be. But it's a huge race there though. So I'm glad to get to do it again. Hopefully the weather is decent. So.
All right. Well, the birthday list, it's got a female on top. Yeah. Linda Willemsen. 39 today. So
39. Wow. And she's from Australia.
New Zealand. Yeah.
The second person is from Australia. Their flags are very similar, but not quite.
More very small, very small on the Pro Cycling Stats website to pick it out. But Linda's a former world champion in the time trial in 2015, which, that was the year before Richmond was 2016, right?
Yeah.
Or was it 2015?
2016. No, wait, no, it couldn't have been. No.
Oh.
That's so terrible. I can't remember. Maybe it was 15.
No, Richmond, 2015. It was Richmond. Yeah, she won in Richmond. We were there. I was there.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're getting old. Yes. Wow, that's already 9 years this year away. So
how long have you looked at? Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
And she's 2 times second in the world championship too. So she's good racer. The time trial was by far her strongest suit. So she won the world championship time trial. She was second twice. She was third 3 times. So won once, second twice, third 3 times. She's Oh, she won the Denmark National Road Championship 4 times too. So.
Wow, I was just looking at the birthday 33 today of the first active rider, Luke Durbridge. But what surprised me, not about what his results in that, but I'm looking at his team list. Looks like he's raced the whole time with the same Australian, Team Jayco Lula. It was Team Jayco Skins. That's a Continental team. They started in 2010, 2011, and then Orica Green Edge as a World Tour. Orica Scott, Mitchelton Scott, as they went through Team Bike Exchange for a couple of years, and now Team Jayco Alula. Wow, the whole career. So
that's great. Yeah, there's some good loyalty, and you must feel comfortable there. And yeah,
that's awesome.
So it's Kirk O'Bee is the first American.
I saw that. Yeah.
So he's
47.
Yeah. And then
he won the Tour of Taiwan. He won the overall Tour of Taiwan. Yeah.
You see that it's Osborne Craig Anderson's birthday today too. So
yeah, I saw that. Is that Soren Craig Anderson's brother? Yeah. But he's not racing anymore.
32. No, he retired since the end of the year of 22. So that's last year at DSM.
Katrina Bergen Grove from the U.S. She's got some. She won a stage at Redlands Classic 2001. She's 50. Yeah. All right. Well, Scott Neidham's 47. Last week when we did birthdays, it had changed over. Julie Emmerman. Okay. Julie Emmerman. Wow. She's 55.
Good time trialist. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent time trialist. Yeah.
She was twice 10th in the national championships in America.
Yeah. Well, she's 55, and her last top result was in 2019, just 5 years ago.
21, she was 10th still in nationals. So.
Oh, 21, yeah. So she would have been in her 50s already then. Crazy.
Yeah.
I knew she was older. I didn't know she was that old. Toby Swanson. That's great. That
I know.
Okay.
People definitely. Yeah. You said Scott Chapin already. Yeah. Right.
Ronnie Hinson. He didn't have any results, but he rode for Team Spago in 1990, and he's 65. But he's on the list. Ronnie Hinson, happy birthday, 65 today. He's older than you are. You raced against him? Yeah.
Yeah. In Spago, that was 1990. I was in Southern California racing on the 1-2 Pro circuit back then, and we raced against Spago all the time.
All right. Well done. Okay. Well, so actually we went a little longer than I thought. Let's get back to our day jobs, our other work we have to do. It's always fun to catch up, and there's always so much to talk about. It's crazy. Yeah. We miss a lot, but things that we remember, things we get to see. Hopefully, we can talk again soon. I think my next live race I'll be at will probably be the Eschborn Frankfurt on May 1st.
Oh, okay.
So but that's still a little bit of ways. But wow, I didn't realize the Giro was less than a month away already. That's crazy.
I know, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I'll have flexible time next week, so we'll do a podcast sometime next week then.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Have a good camp. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.